Was the script like real clear, or was there a lot of room for improvisation and for your own thing, or did you really have to follow the script?
Well, thank you, because I never get a question. But no, well, Adi, I know him, like it's not the first project I did with him. And that's actually the thing I really like and appreciate with him, working with him. Is like, so we get a script from the beginning, and then we sit there at least like 2 weeks before with the actors, and so we go through the scenes, and then we can give our own input. So we can we try out, and then we like, okay, this could work better if we change this or do this, and he's quite open for new suggestions, and so we try a lot out, and then even like the day when we shoot, he's always, then he comes and he said, actually I think it's better that you just don't do it that way, just change it completely. And then you're like, okay, we just like improvise like for 2 weeks, and then we just change it like on the spot. And it makes it, well, for me, I think it makes it more special and more real, because there's a lot of takes. Actually, it's the first take. So we train it, and we had like our idea, like how to do it, and then he just came and then he changed everything, which is makes it like more special and more real for the moment. And so it was a lot of things. It's like the first take is like, okay, that's the take. We're gonna keep that, and then so, we feel comfortable with it because we can let loose and we can just like try something out. And even if it's not going the right way the first time, it's like, okay, you just try it. That's all right. Just go that way now and stuff like that. So yeah. He's really good in that. Thanks for that, though.
Okay, so we all watched the movie Sawah, but why did you decide to name the movie Sawah?
So yes, actually in Arabic it means Sawah, and Sawah is a very famous Egyptian song by a singer called Abdul Hafiz, and also the word Sawah means also the traveler or the vagabond, someone who's lost, or tourists, someone who's traveling. And so there's all those things I'm trying, like as you see in the film, that I was trying to put in there. And originally I wanted to have the original song, but to have the original song was like the budget of this whole film, so it was quite impossible to get it. So it had to be a bit more creative. And the good thing is that it's a unique title. It sounds exotic. I like titles that are short, so people can remember easily. And the Arabs, they can relate to the word itself because of the music and also the background behind it. Because the original song, you have the story about this person who's searching also, and he's traveling and he's trying to find his way. So that's why I decided to play with that.
So yeah, we discussed it with you at the table, but maybe it's interesting to discuss it with the public too. Samir, he got arrested like twice. Was it kind of a statement you wanted to make in the movie, or against racism because he was arrested based on how he looked, or yeah, was it a statement you wanted to make, or what did you mean by it?
Yeah. I don't really like to make statements, but I prefer people. Yeah. But it's my own way of telling something. But I want people to make their own statements when they say something. And but with this, because in reality, lots of people will tell me, yeah, it doesn't happen like that, and so on. But in this particular case, I just wanted to play with stereotypes, because all the characters are stereotypes, as you've seen. So it's not only on Samir, but it's also with all the others. And what I wanted to show is that Samir is actually the only one who speaks fluently, perfectly English in this whole bunch. So I just wanted to play with that. And on the point that Samir gets, the way how he gets arrested, it happens. This can happen, and also he can be arrested not only to be considered as a, let's say, migrant or refugee, but he could also be considered as someone who's bringing people over, because this happens also a lot, that people, they try to transport people illegally, and then they disguise themselves as being refugees and trying to profit from the system or whatever, and trying to hide that way. So what I want to say is just like, with with stereotypes, sometimes we judge people from the first time we see them, and it happens. It's human nature that this happens very normally, and so that's what I wanted to play with, and especially now I just decided to take an Egyptian Arab. It's just like because of my own origins, and because also now with the recent news, what was over the news over the past 3 years. But this is something that I try to do that is timeless, and also anyone can relate to it. Not only today, hopefully in 20 years or 100 years from now. So,
This is actually a question for both of you. So, which scene or which part of the movie was one of the... Yeah, which part did you enjoy the most to make, and which part did you enjoy the most to act or to be a part of?
Okay, because like to make a film is very, very difficult. Okay, so especially this one. Okay, because as you've seen, there's so many different languages, so many different characters, so many different locations. So with this film, we shot it last year, and we had like over the whole shoot, we had like the 4 seasons in a year. So it was one day it was like -20, next day it was like +15, next day it was raining, next day it was snowing. So the schedule, we had to reschedule everything a lot, and trying to be creative location-wise and so on. Like for example, we shot some scenes that are meant to be in Egypt, in Luxembourg itself, with actors who have never experienced that sort of weather. So it was very, very difficult for them. But I had a lot of fun during the whole shoot, especially with all my actors, because if I have people like Paul on my side or all the other people as you've seen there, they were all very supportive. They really enjoyed the shoot. We had a lot of fun shooting. They were all very professional, had an amazing crew, we had very good food, we traveled a lot around, and we still, until today, a year later, we're like a family, and we're still talking almost every day, like he can tell you. Okay, and so we talk every day until all we rebound the film, and it was something that was more than just making a film. So, yeah. Paul?
For me, like especially the scene to act was like, okay, if you saw the movie, it's like I'm playing, like my role is always kind of the same thing that I play, and the stupid cop is always in the front, so every scene was kind of a little bit the same thing. But like it was more, for me it was more special, but behind the scenes, because like everywhere where we were shooting, I had like some special situations, because like we were not shooting inside, so we were really outside shooting, like in real places in Luxembourg. And I had always had like situations where people came up to me like and they thought I was a policeman, and so I would end up like in these crazy stories from people that were searching the children, and the other guy I had to do like the circulation of the road, and then at one point I was driving with the car, and then like there were like these weird cops behind me. That's just stories like that, which makes it for me like really special to have had this opportunity to be living this side of, because we all know policemen, but we don't know how really it is to be like in a position to have like a uniform and how people react to it, and that was really interesting for me. And yeah, but like for the acting scene is quite I think actually it is the first scene where I take Karim when I put his head on the car, because we did that scene I think like 10 times. And so we tried not to hurt him, and then actually once I hurt him like really bad with the head on the car, and actually we took that scene, and it was kind of like a huge thing afterwards. But for me it was funny though, so I think I'm gonna just go with that.
Okay, thank you. Zijn er ondertussen al vragen in het publiek opgekomen? Je mocht gerust je hand opsteken en het vragen.
Whatever you want. Comment.
Of ja, een commentaar of een mening, alles. Nee. Ja.
I have a question for you. I want to ask you, you have in your frame politic message of you use the situation, political situation, just for funny. or no in this film. One, I see when Mubarak is fallen, see, I see another champion. No. So, you have the project message or no in this film?
Actually, I don't like to give people messages. Like, I want people to find their own messages in my films. And but just like a small point, like concerning this whole Arab Spring issue with Mubarak and so on. As you said, Mubarak, I never said one word of Mubarak. I never said anything about a date or people or location and so on. What I wanted to say with that is just like it could be something that could happen anywhere in the world. Like what you saw there with the archive footage of the Arab Spring is something that happens here in Europe almost every week, and no one talks about it. Okay, and I wanted to show also that something that happens everywhere in the world at any time, like you've seen recently, just last week in Sudan or a few weeks before in Algeria. It's something that lots of people, like especially young people from our generation, they are very frustrated. Just look just across the border in France, what happens every week there with the Gilets jaunes, what they're doing. So it's just something that I want to show that like there's lots of talent in many countries all over the world, and lots of people, they don't get the opportunities so they can move forward in their life. So they try to find opportunities somewhere else. And for me as a filmmaker, I don't want to give a message, like I want people just to make their own idea behind it. So, yeah.
Andere vragen, opmerkingen? Of niet? Yeah, I had another question. If you look back at the movie now, is there something you would like to change or do differently if you could remake it, if you could do it again, or are you satisfied with everything? Or do you have something like, yeah, maybe I had done that differently, or for the actor too?
I don't know, maybe change my actors. Because you know, filmmaking is a very hard thing to do. Like for this film, it took me 5 years, really intensively to do it. Okay, from writing, it took me like 47 drafts, so 47 versions of the scripts that we wrote. Each version was different from the other. So you know, a script like 1 minute of screen is like 1 page on paper. So you can imagine how many pages we wrote, me and my writers, just to get to this. Plus, when you make a film, as I said before, there were lots of things happened that were unexpected. So we had to be creative in the way how to shape this thing so the film gets made. Because what you see there on screen, like I've cut maybe 35 minutes from what we shot actually, like what was written on the script, what we shot. So I had to cut down in order to have a film that works, so hopefully it works, that has a rhythm, that it's not boring, and that represents my vision as a filmmaker. If it's like 85 minutes long or 2 hours long, for me, like I just want, like a film that works. And so filmmaking is a very organic thing. So because what you write on paper is sometimes completely different from what you see on screen. And just a small anecdote, for example, my main actor, I had a different main actor at the beginning. Like I had for maybe 2 years, I had one of the most famous Arabic actors. He's tall, he looks very aggressive, lots of tattoos, very piercings. The way how he speaks is very aggressive. And that's the character, how I imagined it at the beginning. But then I got into a fight 2 months before the shoot with this actor. So I decided to take someone else completely, and I'm very, very happy that because with that that other actor, Karim, that I decided to take on board, he changed somehow with me. Like we decided to find a new tone in the film that brings it like that. Because else the film would have become much, much more dramatic, let's say it like that. So those are things that sometimes you never know. You find like in something negative, there's something positive that comes out of it. And that's something that I learned over the years also as a human being, that sometimes situations in life, even though they're negative, there's always some light in it. And I I don't want to make things that, even though, like I'm not, maybe people they can't say that I'm making fun of a lot of very serious subjects, but it's not really like just my way of telling a story. Okay, and if people they find it funny or dramatic, that's their thing. Like they have to find themselves their own opinion and build up on that.
Tot nu toe nog geen vragen van het publiek uit? Meningen? Ja. Ja.
De regisseur is dus aan de film bezig en af en toe komt er op het scherm een tekst 4 of 5 keer, dus het vervolg van de film, komt duidelijk schriftelijk op het scherm en dat vind ik niet zo nodig. De film is te subtiel om iedere keer het effect te benadrukken van nu komt dat. De flikkering van die ster en dan komt daar een paar letters in. Want de DJ komt aan.
Wilt u op het einde, als het einde was?
4 keer in de film. Dat dus de pagina uitgedrukt wordt. En wat het vervolg is van de DJ, dat vind ik niet nodig. Dat is niet nodig. Het maakt het spannend voor me.
Oké, dus...
Het is een beetje te filmisch. Dat het structuur op het scherm.
Oké, dus de 4 keer dat er... Ja,
Ja,
nee, maar ik weet ook niet zo goed wanneer of wat dat ik probeer te vertellen eigenlijk, want we hebben de film al gekeken en
ik vind dat niet nodig dat dat erin komt.
van de wedstrijd.
Ja.
Oké.
Nee, niet van de wedstrijd. Nee, van de tekst.
Yeah, no, she's trying to explain something about the movie, that there was like 4 times that there was a text in screen, it was like a flash text. Oh yeah, I remember! No. So, in the movie, when you have like the countdown to the contest, I think you mean, dus de aftelling tot so the countdown to the contest is like 1 day, so many hours, and she thinks it's too filmographic, she thinks it's not necessary to do it. And that's what she was trying to say. So maybe you can explain to her why you decided to do that. Misschien je kan uitleggen waarom dat heeft gedaan, dat hij dat gedaan heeft.
Ja, misschien dat we eerst straks eens praten aan de bar.
Dat kan ook. Het is wat je wilt. Ik zal hem even doen.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for this comment in Dutch. Because for me, because I just want to show Samir he's really fighting against time, because his time is just not only for the contest, but it's also time, let's say, what's happening back home in his country. And also, I want the film also to have like, even the way how I'm putting this, I wanted to have also like some sort of pop or cool feeling to it, because the film, as you've seen, it has so many layers and so many types of humor or dramatic situations. And this is just like a part of it that I wanted to have in there, just to put more pressure on the time.
More pressure, yeah. For me, no.
Yeah,
but at the end it makes a little bit pressure. When you see you just have like 2 hours to go to Brussels and then just go to Lier.
Very pressure.
Thanks for the comments.
Iemand anders een mening, opmerking? Alles is welkom. Feedback? Nee? Oké.
Even bad, it's not worse.
Negatieve commentaar.
So we can make better movies after.
I'm going to drink something and then we're going to talk.
We go drink and then we go talk.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe I have one more question for you guys. So, I really liked the movie.
That's good.
Yeah, I really did. Are there plans for the future? Maybe another movie you're planning to make, and even maybe Paul will be starring in it as the head character?
That's a big question.
Explain. What's your future? What do you want to do next?
So this film is actually the first one of a trilogy of 3 films that I'm doing. Yeah. So there will be 3 films based on 3 steps in my life, basically. Like that was the one how I came to Luxembourg by mistake. The second one will be the story of a teenager who chases the American dream, and the third one will be a road trip around Europe. So the 3 films would be like 3 steps, 3 important steps in my life, like how I developed as a human being, and they will also be completely different from each other, like in the tone, okay, like in the tone, because for me when I did this film here, it was as a filmmaker, it's the biggest challenge to do comedy that works. Because comedy is like the issue that they say people say that comedies don't travel. It's very hard to make comedies that are. So for me as a filmmaker, it challenges me really. And the next one will have more dramatic tone. But I will use in all the 3 films. They all have the same different themes like identity, languages, traveling, integration, immigration. So I try to play with that, so I'm developing now my next project. So I'm quite lucky because I just got funding for it. So I'm playing with it, like I'm currently working, and hopefully, in a couple of years' time, I should have something that I could show you, maybe here again. So.
Okay, and Paul, do you have acting? Acting things in the future or other?
Yeah. Yes, I'm working. Thanks. I can't say much more. I'm sorry, but I do stuff. Yeah, but it's not my part to say when it's coming out. But thanks for the question.
Oké, als er geen andere vragen meer zijn in de zaal, of opmerkingen, dan kunnen we het hierbij laten. I want to thank you both very much for coming here and answering the questions. So thank you. En een applaus voor de regisseur.
Ik denk dat er nog iets te drinken is of napraten of misschien een gesprek aangaan met 2 mannen hiernaast. Dus we zien u dan beneden. Dankjewel.
Dankjewel.